Commission on Judicial Appointments is now in session. The Honorable Patricia Guerrero presiding. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the public hearing of the Commission on Judicial Appointments. As Chief Justice of California, I serve as chair of the commission. The other members of the commission are Attorney General Rob Bonta and Presiding Justice Lori Earle. Janelle Baker serves as secretary to the commission. This hearing is to consider Governor Gavin Newsom's appointment of Ms. Aimee Feinberg to the office of Associate Justice for the Court of Appeal, 3rd Appellate District. The commission is in receipt of a letter from Governor Newsom appointing Ms. Feinberg to fill a vacancy created by the retirement of Justice Andrea Lynn Hope. The state constitution specifies that an appointment by the governor to the Court of Appeal is effective when confirmed by the Commission on Judicial Appointments. The commission has received correspondence pertaining to this appointment, and we made these letters available to the press and the public a few days ago. Pursuant to a request by Governor Newsom, the State Bar's Commission on Judicial Nominees Evaluation has undertaken an evaluation of the qualifications of Ms. Feinberg for this position. Mr. Justin Palmer, chair of that commission, is present to share the results of the evaluation later in the proceedings. Ms. Feinberg has asked the following persons to be called to testify on her behalf. I will list all of you now and then call on each speaker separately to come up to the podium. We have the Honorable Goodwin Liu, Associate Justice with the California Supreme Court. We have Mr. Michael Mongan, Solicitor General with the California Department of Justice. And we have Ms. Jodi Linker, Public Defender with Office of the Federal Public Defender. Welcome to all of you. We invite Justice Liu to the podium.
Madam Chief Justice, Mr. Attorney General, and Presiding Justice Earle, it's my privilege to speak today in support of the confirmation of Aimee Feinberg as an Associate Justice of the 3rd District Court of Appeal. And it is interesting to be on this side of the bench. You have before you the impeccable credentials of this nominee. She earned her bachelor's degree at UC Berkeley, her law degree at Stanford. That's a show of true bipartisanship. She clerked for Justice Breyer at the United States Supreme Court. She excelled at Munger, Tolson, Olson, then became head of the California Supreme Court Clinic at UC Davis, followed by 9 years of public service as a California Deputy Solicitor General in the Department of Justice until last year. I've known Aimee Feinberg for almost 20 years. That is because we clerked a few years apart for the same federal appeals court judge, David Tatel, of the D.C. Circuit. And if you will forgive my bias, I think that clerkship did prepare me well for appellate work, and I believe the same is true for Aimee. In the course of her distinguished career as an appellate advocate, Aimee has appeared before the California Supreme Court 5 times, and I can remember every one of her appearances. That alone says something, and it's because, number one, she appeared on behalf of the Attorney General and the state of California in 5 highly visible matters of truly statewide importance. And number 2, it is because she is an outstanding lawyer. And I know that because 2 of the 5 cases were assigned to me. Her writing is lucid, thorough, free of embellishment, and her oral presentation is poised, prepared, and unflappable. Her analytical mind, even temperament, and calm demeanor will serve her well on the bench. She understands what appellate judging involves, and she is more than qualified for the role. The surest evidence of my regard for Aimee is that I have tried over the years to lure her away from the Department of Justice into considering one or another senior attorney position at the California Supreme Court. Sorry, Rob. Sorry, Mike. But I pretty much knew I would be unsuccessful because Aimee's abilities amply suit her to serve not only at a court, but on a court. So when I learned that Aimee had applied for a vacancy on the 3rd District, I could not have been happier for her, for the Court of Appeal, and for the state of California. I'm confident that Aimee Feinberg will add great insight and luster to our appellate bench, and it's my honor to appear before you today to enthusiastically and unequivocally urge her confirmation.
Thank you, Justice Liu, for your insightful comments. It's a little odd for me too. I'm used to you being here, to my love. We welcome to the podium Mr. Mongan.
Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Bonta, Presiding Justice Earl. I'm honored to have the opportunity this afternoon to tell you why I think Aimee Feinberg would be a phenomenal Associate Justice on the 3rd District. There's a sense in which I might be uniquely qualified on this topic because of all the professional colleagues I've ever had. I've worked longer with Aimee in the aggregate than anyone. First for 2 years in private practice, and then for nearly a decade in California's Office of the Solicitor General. I'd like to talk about 3 of the many ways in which Aimee truly stands out. First, Aimee brings an unsurpassable degree of analytical rigor to her work. As you all know, appellate practitioners and appellate courts often confront doctrines and statutes that are complex, confusing, sometimes even contradictory. Aimee thrives in that environment. As a Deputy Solicitor General, she'd be assigned an appeal presenting some abstruse constitutional question that she'd never dealt with before. And she'd disappear for 2 or 3 days and read everything that has ever been written on that subject. And then suddenly she'd reappear with a highly nuanced and sophisticated understanding of the doctrine and the best answer to that abstruse question and the most persuasive arguments for our brief. And one of the things that makes Aimee so special is that it wasn't just in her appeals. Over and over, I saw other lawyers in our department, and even in other states, turning to Aimee for help with their own thorny legal questions. Aimee loved that work as an advocate, and I know that as a justice, she would apply the same intellectual horsepower in a neutral and balanced fashion to reach just answers to the important legal questions confronting the Court of Appeal. Second, Aimee is a fantastic writer. Her prose is elegant but not overwrought, and even more important than that, it is precise and clear and careful. When Aimee is revising a draft, she interrogates every sentence, every word, every punctuation mark. She's militant about making sure that her written work does not overstate the facts or embellish in any way when describing precedent. So I'm confident that her opinions as a justice would be accessible for courts and for litigants. They would contribute greatly to the development of the law, and they'd be an absolute pleasure to read. And finally, Aimee's just a wonderful colleague. She was beloved within our office and throughout the Department of Justice. She's kind-hearted. She cares about treating people with respect and building strong professional relationships. And she's one of those few people who manages to take her work very seriously without ever taking herself too seriously. I think those traits would make Aimee an ideal colleague for the justices of the 3rd District and for the other public servants who work at the court. And it's my great honor to support her appointment. I appreciate the work of this commission and its staff, and thank you for your careful consideration of Aimee's appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Mongan, for your insight and comments. We now welcome to the podium Ms. Linker.
Honorable Chief Justice, Attorney General, Presiding Justice. My name is Jodi Linker, and it is my great honor to testify in favor of the confirmation of Aimee Feinberg to the 3rd District Court of Appeal. As you heard from Justice Liu and Solicitor General Mongan, and as you know from the information that you received, Aimee has a resume that reflects her keen intellect, dogged determination, and excellent advocacy skills. She went to Cal and Stanford, clerked in the D.C. Circuit and the United States Supreme Court. She worked at Munger and the California Solicitor General's office. She was a law professor. She's argued in this court. She's argued in the United States Supreme Court. Her list of accomplishments is long and impressive. Indeed, it is no surprise to those who know Aimee as a lawyer that she would be nominated for a prestigious position such as this. So you might think that I'm standing here as the federal public defender as another voice to echo what a brilliant, hardworking, and truly exceptional lawyer she is. Well, I know all of those things to be true. That is not why I'm here. What I get to do here today is something different. It's something really special. I get to stand up for a friend. I get to stand up and explain to you why my friend Aimee will make an exceptional judge. I'm here to say that her qualities as a friend, a mother, a sister, a spouse, a daughter, and a community participant are the same qualities that will make her an asset to the people of California and the system of justice. Aimee and I met when we were both working in Washington, D.C. shortly after undergrad. We were like many who were drawn to D.C., passionate about our work, optimistic about the causes we believed in, and full of endless energy for doing, an energy that Aimee has somehow maintained for all of these years. At the exact moment we met, I was standing on the top of a ladder, painting over a graffitied wall at a public school in D.C. where we had both volunteered on a Saturday. Aimee, of course, was one of the leaders of the project, clipboard in hand, this was pre-iPad, organizing the volunteers and making sure we kept working and that we were also fed and having fun. We soon realized we had friends in common, one of whom is here today. But more than that, after a few minutes of chatting, I was immediately drawn to Aimee's sincerity, kindness, and spirit. And so began our friendship of now more than 25 years. When she left D.C. to attend Stanford Law School, I was fortunate enough to follow her. I say I was fortunate, not just because I was fortunate to get into Stanford, which I was, but because I was able to be with Aimee. I think some of us know that law school can be a cutthroat and difficult place, but that wasn't the case with Aimee there. It probably will not surprise you to hear that Aimee's outlines were the thing of legend. But she did not keep them to herself. She shared, she collaborated, she led, and she learned. She was known for her bright mind, hard work, and attention to detail, but also for her ability to shine without pushing others down. She innately recognized the value of community and did her part to make others, including myself, stronger. And in talking to Aimee's friends from childhood, college, and more, that is how Aimee has always been in all of the spheres of her life. I reached out to some of those friends in preparation for today, many of whom are not lawyers, to ask what they believe makes Aimee such a good friend. Poignantly, the three things that came up again and again and again are also what will make her an excellent jurist: humility, intelligence, and integrity. What those of us in her community know is the following: she has the sharpest mind and yet never a sharp tongue. As accomplished and driven as she is, it is never at the expense of others. She always seems to prefer turning the spotlight on those around her and sees the ultimate value in raising others up along with her rather than pushing people down to get ahead. She's the rock, the one we turn to when we need a reason and thoughtful sounding board to make difficult decisions, or just a warm and open embrace of support. And she does this without edge or judgment. Instead, she acts with discretion and honor. She is graceful in her words and actions. She is serious when necessary, but has a clever wit, dazzling smile, and infectious laugh. And that does not even go into the joy that comes from a dance party with Aimee. Always the first on the dance floor and the last to leave. The dance floor is Aimee's happy place. She is reliable, she's trustworthy and kind, open and accepting, and she genuinely cares about the well-being of her friends and takes the extra effort to ask questions and truly listen to the answers. Undoubtedly, many of those qualities are the product of the family and community within which she was raised. Her parents, Jonathan and Adela, were intellects and advocates. They brought heart and passion to their work and to their family, and embodied the values of public service for Aimee and her sister Ruth Ann, who is here in the courtroom. I'm sorry her parents are not alive to witness this moment today. Jonathan and Adela would be so filled with joy. Not to take credit for any of Aimee's accomplishments, but to continue to support her in doing what she loves and doing it well. Aimee has carried on that legacy with the family she has created. She and her husband, Matt, who I have maintained a relationship with despite him being a prosecutor for many years of his career, have committed to this ridiculous circus act we call two career parents trying to raise their children and maintain their sanity. I know firsthand it's not always easy, yet Aimee sure makes it seem like it is. She is unflappable, but still realistic and honest about the challenges of trying to do it all. Lila and Isaac are her pride and joy, and Aimee has an amazing ability to support and nurture them while allowing them to develop and grow into who they want to be as individuals. And she's done so with integrity to herself, her interests, and her work. Aimee's patience, acceptance, and calm as a parent will certainly serve her well if confirmed as a judge. Aimee is a fantastic and brilliant lawyer, but more importantly, she's a truly decent and kind human and a loyal and caring friend. The people of California will be well served with my friend Aimee on the bench. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Linker, for sharing that important perspective as her friend. We appreciate it. The commission now invites the chair of the Jenny Commission, Mr. Justin Palmer, to present the evaluation and the report that his commission conducted.
Right. Hello again, Chief Justice Guerrero, again, Attorney General Bonta, Justice Earl. It's nice to see you again. I am honored to present this report on behalf of the Commission of Judicial Nominees Evaluation. To summarize the basis of the Commission's rating of Aimee Feinberg of the Office of Associate Justice of the Court of Appeal, 3rd Appellate District. Jenny Commission conducted its evaluation of Aimee Feinberg on February 20, 2021, finding her to be extremely well qualified for service on the 3rd District Court of Appeal. According to Commission rules, that rating reflects the Commission's determination that Aimee Feinberg possesses qualities and attributes of remarkable or extraordinary superiority to perform the appellate judicial function with distinction and is exceptionally well qualified for the appellate court. Aimee Feinberg was born in San Mateo, California. She earned her BA in Political Science and Economics from UC Berkeley in 1995. Graduating with distinction, she went to work on several political and legislative matters as California Congresswoman Lynn Woolsey's press secretary in Washington, D.C. She returned to California and attended Stanford Law School, where she graduated Order of the Coif in 2002. She was admitted to practice law that same year. Feinberg credits her interest in litigation to a criminal adjudication class during law school. She began her career with 2 prestigious federal clerkships, one in the United States Court of Appeal in D.C., and the second with Justice Breyer on the U.S. Supreme Court. After completing both clerkships, she returned to the Bay Area and worked as an associate at the firm of Munger, Tolles & Olson for 6 years. There, she worked on a broad range of litigation matters before state and federal courts. She also handled several appeals and high-level corporate internal investigations. Additionally, she handled several pro bono matters, including representation of a death row inmate in Louisiana. Ms. Feinberg joined the faculty at UC Davis Law School in 2011, establishing the California Supreme Court Clinic, the first clinic of its kind in the state of California. She developed the curriculum and led activities of the clinic until she joined the California Office of the Solicitor General in 2014. In that role, she worked on numerous high-level appeals before the state and federal appellate courts. She returned to Munger, Tolles & Olson in 2023. As an appellate litigator, she has broad experience handling high-stakes appeals in federal and state appellate courts, including the United States Court of Appeal for the Ninth Circuit and the United States Supreme Court. In her spare time, she enjoys time with her family, theater, and making dance videos on TikTok. Had an impressive career as an appellate practitioner and the broad unit. He has developed a breadth of experience in both trial and appellate practice. The Commission's investigation revealed that she is analytically rigorous, precise in her writing and oral advocacy, and careful in her work. From all this, the Commission determined that Aimee Feinberg is exceptionally well qualified for service on the 3rd District Court of Appeal.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer, for your very entertaining and thorough report. We now invite Ms. Aimee Feinberg to present a statement, if you wish, and to answer any questions that the Commission may have.
Thank you. Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Bonta, and Presiding Justice Earl. It is an extraordinary honor and privilege to appear before you today. I would like to express my gratitude to Governor Newsom. I am truly honored and humbled by his appointment, and I would be pleased to answer any questions the Commission may have.
Are there any questions, Attorney General Bonta?
Sure, just a quick comment and question. First, thanks to the amazing witnesses for your insight and comments about Ms. Feinberg. And Ms. Feinberg, thank you for your service to the California Department of Justice. Of course, the Department of Justice's loss is the California bench's gain. And thank you for being willing to continue your commitment to service to the people of California. There's a lot of things you can do, have done, and your talents are limitless. So thank you for choosing service. As you move from advocate to the bench, what do you look forward to most? What do you think will be most exciting? And maybe a reflection on any challenges you expect.
So first and foremost, I look forward to returning to public service. That is where my heart and passion lie. I look forward to the opportunity, if confirmed, to write judicial opinions and finding my voice as a jurist. I'm also looking forward to learning about new areas of the law and from the extraordinary justices on the Court of Appeal and from court staff and from litigants. And in terms of challenges, my career has covered many different areas of the law, both civil and criminal. There are a few areas, however, where I don't have experience, for example, in dependency law. And so I, if confirmed, look forward to climbing that learning curve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Aimee, you are eminently qualified for this position. And I wondered, Aimee, you're also somewhat unique, and you wouldn't think it would be such, but you have that background where you have advocated in the courts of review, and now you will be working with the courts of review from a different angle. And although Attorney General Bonta stole my question, I'll put a slight spin on it, and that is, what are you most curious about in making this transition that lies ahead of you?
I think I will have much to learn about making the transition. I feel that I have a strong foundation for doing so based on my work as a law clerk and also as an advocate and an advocate for the state.
But I'm curious about the internal workings of the court, how justices interact with one another and with staff, and approach their day-to-day caseload in processing the work of the court. And if confirmed, I look forward to the opportunity to learn about that from you and the other jurists on the court. Thank you.
I just have a comment and a pretty softball question, but something that stood out to me in your questionnaire. My comment first is, wow, what an impressive background that you have in terms of your clerkships, your work at a private law firm, followed by your work at the Solicitor General's office, and then your work that you did helping to form the clinic at UC Davis. Such a variety of work that you've done, and you've excelled in every capacity. I have no doubt that you will continue to excel if we do confirm you to this position. I wanted to just ask you about something that you wrote in your questionnaire. For those that don't know, the questionnaire asks two primary questions where we ask for feedback on the important characteristics of being a justice and a judge, and also why you want to be a judge or a justice. And I noted that in your response, you talk about your love of writing, but within the responses to both of those questions, you touched upon the importance of thoughtfully and carefully explaining the court's reasoning. And you indicated that in response to your second question as well, about clearly explaining the opinions and legal precedents and authorities for the public. So I'm wondering what it is why you decided to focus on that and how that will inform your work as a justice.
It's a lesson I very much took away from my experience as a law clerk. And I think that those responses were based on the observation that unlike the other branches of government, courts deliberate away from the public's view. And the public's access to courts is at a hearing, such as this one, or when the court is in session, and also then through the court's opinions and its orders. And as a result of that, it's incumbent on the court to explain to the public clearly and truthfully what its reasons for the decisions are. And that's the transparency to the public about the court's decisions. And I think the other aspect to it about writing carefully and precisely is because judicial opinions, at least in some cases, serve as precedent for other cases and also give direction to litigants and trial courts. And it's very important for all the actors in the system to know clearly what the court has held and what they are to do from there. And those were the main reasons for that, the answer to that question, Madam Chief Justice.
Thank you very much for your response. This completes the list of witnesses who are testifying here today. Are the members of the commission prepared to vote? All in favor of confirming Ms. Aimee Feinberg for this position, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. On this record and correspondence received, the commission finds Ms. Aimee Feinberg qualified to serve as an Associate Justice of the Court of Appeal for the 3rd Appellate District, and we confirm her appointment. Congratulations, Justice Feinberg. Ladies and gentlemen, the formal portion of the hearing is now adjourned. Justice Feinberg has asked me to administer the oath, and you're all welcome to stay for that too. It'll just be a few moments. Thank you. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Aimee Athena Feinberg,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
I think it's fine if you'd like to be seated. I can say that now, I guess. Thank you very much again to the Commission and to Governor Newsom. I am honored and humbled by the confidence you have placed in me and by the opportunity you have given me to serve alongside the extraordinary jurists of the 3rd District Court of Appeal, and I thank them all for being here today. I would like to extend my gratitude to Judicial Appointments Secretary Luis Cespedes, former Deputy Secretary and now Justice Gonzalo Martinez, Deputy Secretary Adam Hoffman, and Deputy Debbie Kuhn for their consideration of my application and for the remarkable service they render to the people of our state every day. I'd also like to recognize the Jenny Commission, and in particular Commission Chair Justin Palmer, and Commissioners Jim Michalski, Carol Kahn, and Brian Danitz, as well as the Sacramento County Bar Association Judiciary Committee. Thank you for your time and effort in evaluating my application and for your dedication to our state's judiciary. I am indebted as well to Commission Secretary Janelle Baker, Supreme Court Clerk and Executive Officer Jorge Navarrete, the California Highway Patrol, and 3rd District Court of Appeal and Executive Officer Colette Brugman. Thank you all for making today's hearing possible. Thank you also to Justice Goodwin Liu, Mike Mongan, and Jodi Linker, who spoke on my behalf today. I am immensely grateful for your generous words, for the example you set of commitment to justice and to service, and for your mentorship and friendship over many years. I thank as well each person who wrote a letter to the Commission in support of my confirmation, former Ninth Circuit Judge Paul Watford, Justice Peter Krause, the Unity Bars of Yolo and Sacramento counties, Ed Dumont, and my former colleagues at Munger, Tolson, Olson. Your kind words humble me, and I will work each day to live up to them. As I move from bar to bench today, I look back on the professional opportunities I have been so fortunate to have, and I feel enormous gratitude to the jurists and advocates who have taught me and mentored me along the way. As a young lawyer, I had the tremendous luck and privilege of serving as a law clerk to Justice Breyer and Judge Tatel. They taught me about writing, about listening, about faithfully applying precedent, about respect for the other branches of government, and about the high responsibility of every jurist to ensure that all parties appearing before them in a given case come away from that case, win or lose, understanding the court's reasons for its decision and having confidence that their case was decided fairly and impartially. As I assume new judicial duties, they both will serve as enduring role models for me. I will also carry with me the models of mentorship of other esteemed jurists who have guided and inspired me over the years. I thank former Chief Justice Tani Cantil-Sakaue, Justice Josh Groban, Judge Connie Callahan, Judge Michelle Friedland, Judge Gabriel Sanchez, Chief Judge Kimberly Mueller, Judge Vince Chabria, Justice Macy Walla, for your wisdom and your encouragement. I also would like to recognize my friends and former colleagues at Mongan.Solicitor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity as a young attorney to learn about lawyering with excellence, integrity, and civility, and above all, about what it means to truly care for and support a colleague. To my friends and former colleagues in the Office of the Solicitor General, it was an honor working alongside each one of you. I will always remember your brilliance, your warmth, your kindness, and your unrelenting dedication to serving the people of the state. And last, I would like to thank my friends and my family, many of whom are here today, and many others who are watching remotely. Your love and support mean the world to me. I thank my sister Ruth Ann, who always knows what I am thinking, and who has stood by my side through all of life's ups and downs. To my husband, Matt, I thank you for your unwavering support of my professional goals, your humor, your love, and your partnership. And to my children, Lila and Isaac, I want you to know that your joy, your curiosity, your outspokenness, and your love fill my heart every day. And finally, I would like to thank my parents, Jonathan Feinberg and Adela Harris Feinberg, who passed away in 2019 and 2020, but whose presence I feel very deeply today. They taught me the values of excellence and hard work, responsibility to the community, and above all, compassion for others. I pledge to carry those values with me every day in the new role I am so profoundly honored to serve in. Thank you.